Beloved heart, I invite you to sign up to my mailing list, and as a result of signing up, you will get a free gift. It's a 5D rebalance tune up of all these chakras, and chakras are my specialty. So I would love to gift you with this transmission that is filled with light language and codes to help you stay balanced and tuned up during these increased frequencies of energy of this ascension, this new earth frequency. So check out the links in the notes of this show. And I look forward to connecting with you. I am sending you love. This is the transfiguration of the new you. Hello, beloved. Welcome back to another episode on my podcast. I am Monica Bermudez. I am your host. And in this special episode, I want to talk about the connection of the mantis with the Lyrans, as I've been feeling this a much deeper remembrance that is resurfacing, and that it serves, its purpose for these episodes that I've been talking about the different star seeds and galactic cosmic aspects, as well as other topics. But the main reason being that we start to really think about these things, but mostly because there is a part of our DNA, right, that also gets activated when we start to question certain aspects of ourselves and digging in deeper to getting to know each other, getting to know oneself. So, I mean, there's like so much, right, that the universe holds. It's hard to I would say it's hard to imagine from a human standpoint, a human mind, to really know what all of that is. But a lot of the vastness of that memory is resides within our soul. So our soul does have also, like I call it, like a soul DNA, that is intertwined with our physical DNA as well. And it all just kind of comes together in this quantum field. That's the way I see it. And so there's going to be like different layers of remembrance that it will resurface. And I feel that it goes by different stages of layers, I would say, of like um, waking up, certain dormant aspects of our DNA, or, activating them, or layers of awakening, which I've talked in previous episodes, where once, because of our consciousness that is expanding so much, it naturally makes sense that a lot of this will start to resurface, as this remembrance. And it's really up to us how we interpret that, right? How that's being filtered through us and also through our experiences, right? And that's part of the channeling that, many of us do as well. And how we share that information as well. So that's really what's been going on with me and the whole mantis beings and the Lyran connection. Um, and so, which I'll get into some more about that. And so, like I'm saying, is that there's so much yet, to learn from ourselves. And it's also a matter of like our nervous system, what it can handle, right? So definitely, sometimes things may just come all of a sudden, right? Like for those who go through like a Kundalini awakening, it's the most intense experience there is, right? I feel I had some of that last year when I was going through some recalibration myself through the root chakra. And it's just kind of like a continuous thing that has been kind of unfolding for me as well, living in an area where is representative of the root chakra of the world, of earth, and so forth. So getting into this topic, right, of the mantis, I've been seeing a lot of signs personally of the mantis. And just recently, right, just to share this experience, I was at one of the local nurseries for like gardening, because I've been doing a lot of gardening around my pond and getting to know a lot about gardening just in general. Um, and I saw they had like this little container that had like these eggs for like mantis. Um, and so I was curious and I asked why do they have, mantis eggs container? And so apparently, the mantis are used in the plants to, um, I guess they eat the bugs or the insects that eat the plants. Like if you have roses, they have like there's these bugs around or insects that tend to eat the plants themselves. And so I guess that's the mantis. They prey on these insects. That's their food. And so there seems to be like this natural nature ecosystem that is going on. And so a lot of people who do gardening, I guess around here, they can use the mantis beans. When they hatch, they go into you can just leave them there in the plants and they just go to work pretty much. There's a restoration of the garden and the plants and so forth. So yeah, I've been learning a lot about that. And it's really interesting because I couldn't help but look at the symbolism of all this, right? The egg is, I would say, like a 0 point of recreation. And once it hatches, is this whole rebirth. And so I've been like seeing a lot of these containers. Like even when I was there, I witnessed one of the containers actually burst a lot of the mantis, and there was these really tiny little creatures, these praying mantis. They were actually pretty cute. And so they had to like immediately release, and open the container up to place in the plants and so forth. So then I decided, well, it would be nice to have that here with my garden. So I bought like the last container they had. And for a long time, I kept looking at it to see if they had hatched. And so they hatched actually earlier this morning. And I felt that was a nudge and a sign that this is a time to really record this episode, to really get into this whole connection with the Lyrans and the Mantis beings. Um, and understand what is behind this connection, what I'm sensing for me that feels, in alignment for that information. Because I feel like there's just this whole other layer of the mantis remembrance that is coming up. And I had I would say like a moment earlier of some remembrance where I feel that because a lot of what happened, with the Lyran galactic wars, a lot of them, I felt that they had really scattered throughout the different galaxies of planets. Like some of them ended up probably going to Sirius to in other planets, to assist them. And I feel the Mantis also helped them with that whole transition after they lost, their original planet of Lyra. Um, and so I feel like, in a way, of my Lyran roots do stem from some of these places that we migrated to, I would say, into these other different planets, because that would explain why I have, strong connection with Sirius B as well, because there is something that is connected to the Lyran roots. And then, at times I was feeling connection with Palladians, so I feel that maybe some of them did move to Palladian type, star systems. Um, and then there's this whole thing with the mantis that, I want to get into as well that I was sensing from. So yeah, there's definitely so much right to uncover within us of the vastness that is the memory bank of our soul, which I feel it's like an infinite um, place of information, of storage from our many lives that we spent, different aspects of ourselves. And there's even aspects of us, that I'm sensing right now that are even um, concurrently, I would say the word that's popping in my head, concurrently playing out, or in that parallel life of, because our soul, it's like we're part of this oversoul, right? Just kind of get into some of the basics. I consider the oversoul like the umbrella of like all souls, or of like the big mothership of the souls that we stem from, and there's like a portion of our soul that is within our body. So it's not like the complete soul. So we just like can connect more into that over soul, which goes into like, our higher guidance. But of course, it connects to source of all that is. So, I'll probably get into some other talks about that at some point. So yeah, that's what I was feeling was the whole Lyran, part of the remembrance. The mantis beings is now just beginning to unsurface itself, realizing that I do have like a guardian, I would say, of a mantis being who we have like this mutual contract agreement, I would say, of, being able to, I guess they protect it from other star beings who are not supposed to be abducting me. And so if they do, then I had this mantis being to remove any implants, that's not meant to be part of my journey here on this earth, this surface. And I feel that, many of you are also resonating with this in a way because of your star seed, your galactic root connections, star family remembrance. So yeah, this is definitely gonna make you also think so much about this and reflect on it as well with your own roots. So some of the other things too, like I was talking about the egg and its symbolism and all that. The praying mantis actually has a really deep symbol as well through the different cultures. And in general, though, some of the characteristics or the symbolism or the representation behind the praying mantis is about stillness, patience, precision, spiritual connection, and even supernatural forces. In some of the African cultures, for example, they consider the praying mantis to be like a divine messenger or deity, a creator, god, or shapeshifter. So they're all about transformation as well because they can also shed their skins. And so they represent like the spiritual transformational insight. In Chinese culture, they see the mantis as being mindfulness, patience, strategy, and they even have like a martial arts kung fu style, which is inspired by the mantis' quick reflexes and precision and that stillness. Um, I've always been fascinated by all martial arts, and actually, I grew up. I did do martial arts growing up, but it was more like karate style. I did international Shotokan type karate. But for me, like watching a lot of martial art movies, especially those who actually did, the martial arts like Jackie Chan, I was really fascinated by the moves and their mannerism, their style, because that's really what they're saying here. Like this praying mantis has like this calm warrior type, style. Um, and then finally, one of the other, cultures, like the Native American symbolism behind it, it's about introspection, psychic abilities, and natural flow of time, and this inner knowingness and this quiet wisdom. So, and I feel like a lot of these do reflect somewhat, of the mantis beings of, these contexts that some people have had wisdom personally. And personally, from my, standpoint, what I feel from my one mantis being who is like a guardian to me is that they're really highly intelligent, very compassionate, and definitely very spiritual. And they are all about the higher consciousness and evolution. They are like these masters of the universe, so they really think outside the box. And so yeah, there's definitely that deep rootedness and connection. I do feel like, mantis, just like the Lyrans, are also like these old, star beings or older, race of the star systems of the universe, actually the whole universe. Lyrans feels like more like this elderly type star family. Um, which I consider, most of our star family to be like our star ancestry as well. that, we have this connection with them. With the mantis being, I don't really feel like they have a fixed location per se. Um, so they almost feel like a gypsy type, race, almost like the Lyrans in a way. Except that, the Lyrans migrated to some of these other locations when after, they lost their planet. So they established certain roots there in some of these other places like Sirius. Um, so looking deeper at these connections, right? Let's start with this question first to help trigger or say go into a deeper reflection of activation here. What is deeply rooted in us at the soul? What is deeply rooted in us at the soul? There's so much yet, right, to resurface on us. And I don't think we know everything all at once, like I was saying. It would be too much from a human capacity to know everything like all at once. And there would have to be like this whole nervous system recalibration. So if you had like this huge mantis being more than 8 feet tall suddenly show up in front of you, I think many would freak out, right? It might be too much for the nervous system to like handle, because we're not so used to seeing like a mantis being all the time in front of us. Same with Lyran. If you saw like a half feline, half human, um, it'd probably be a shock to the body. And same if we saw like a half bird and half human, like the avian race, some of which, are part of the Lyran connections as well. So that is why it's important to at least start to ease some of this into, ourselves, to start to imprint this wisdom or even these questions and start to really ask this from a reflective standpoint. So let's look at, I would say like about three that I feel that are very strongly rooted to the connections of Lyra and Mantis. The I feel like they have been part of some kind of council of light, together, working, for a long time. And it's like this ancient galactic council, um, working through the different galaxies and maybe even part of this galactic federation of light, an alliance as well. And they do, in a way, complement each other's energy, which I've been really observing in myself, which I find really interesting, right? The Lyrans, have this like creative fire and soul leadership, kind of like this warrior like leadership or this lion heart leadership. And the Mantis have a very deep wisdom, as well as they're all about healing and compassion and having like, a balance.
Unlock your limitless potential with the monthly multiversal circle of creation. This sacred quantum manifestation ritual will awaken your inner power and connect you to the successful versions of yourself across the multiverse. Clear blocks, amplify your creative energy, and set powerful intentions for abundance, love, and possibilities. Activate your galactic aspects, recalibrate your nervous system, and manifest your dreams with cosmic clarity. Available in person and via Zoom. Join us for this transformative experience today.
And so I feel that in many ways there has been some kind of hybrid program that occurred where the mantis mixed with the Lyrans to create this complementary type of energies that I just mentioned. And more of this physical and spiritual DNA. And so having like the Lyrans divine force, divine fire, soul codes, and Mantis having more of the integrity and the frequency behind it, that is part of this whole hybrid program that they genetically, as well altered, because they are known to be as genetic I would say like genetic engineer, but so are the Lyrans. They're like really sharp about the genetics, of our DNA, which would explain why they were, part of the original seeds for humanity here on Earth, for us as a human race, that we carry a lot of these original Lyran seeds of geneticism that is made of who we are right now into this like human form. And of course, there's a mixture of other galactic DNA that we hold as well. Some of us hold more than others, of certain races and certain connections in that way. And I know personally that I was one of these originally Lyran star seeds or seeds here on the earth when um, one of the original Mu or Lemurian beings on the earth when they were starting to colonize, which was way before Atlantis. And and I feel I was in this etheric body, mostly in the water, um, which is would explain why I'm still a little bit attached to the water, or being in the oceans and all that. I just love being on boats and being around water. And so I feel like there's a part of me that is this water creature. And so that's how a lot of Lemuria pretty much started before it actually started having like physical bodies and becoming like its own continent that really used to be in the Pacific side of the ocean. A lot of which, a lot of those ancient civilizations, right? I know there's people that are starting to discover or find certain things that have that connection, but I feel like a lot more is going to be uncovered and unfolded through like findings as things change, and then that would be some of the remembrance, I would say, and a knowingness, or a confirmation of validation of their existence here on this planet. So as starseeds, though, Earth starseed, there is this lineage connection to this connection of Lyra and the mantis being, is one of the third points here that I want to talk about. Um, that has these codes of like kind of like this lion heart energy combined, which is a leadership, courage, and sovereignty connected with the mantis being of the higher mind and multidimensional perception, enhancing telepathy, intuition, and divine timing. And I'd say like, the mantis have their the mantis are pretty much like yeah, definitely like these cosmic engineers and surgeons. There are like I don't know, consciousness engineers because they could really like they really know how to like manipulate the energy and the frequencies, and so um that's why they're known as the masters of the universe. And whereas, um the Lyrans carry some of that soul architect. So in combination, it's like really emphasizing a lot of these two together. It's almost like a polarity of the masculine and feminine energies coming much stronger together in that way. And so that's what I sense from that. Do let me know if any of it resonates with you. I would love to see, what you feel from that and what you've been journaling and reflecting on based on some of these questions that, I posed in this episode. And yeah, so any information you want to share on that, I will be happy to, review some of them and just get a sense who else is out there feeling, this layer that is resurfacing from within. Any starseed connections or roots that are coming up for you. Um, but yeah, so there is just so much, right, to uncover about self. And as we're all going into this expansive consciousness awakening or consciousness, I would say expansion is really what it is. And as we're expanding more souls, there's more of this soul remembrance that is naturally resurfacing out of us, which is stemming from us, from deep within, and aspects of us having, this human experience here in this physical body, which we're meant to also step into our light body, because that's really where things are moving for New Earth and these new higher vibrational frequencies as well that are shifting. And so we're, pretty much moving with these new energies and these new frequencies for those who are still meant to be part of this new world, new Earth order. That, this planet is being rebirthed in a way. And so everything that is, coming up in every advanced technology is really not advanced technologies. It has existed before in ancient civilizations. So for me, it's just a resurface and a remembrance of all of that. And like artificial intelligence is nothing new. It's been part of like other civilizations for so long. And even like here on the earth at some point. So, everything goes by cycles and changes. And so this is one of those cycles where we're really stepping into this whole new era, and it's really being engraved very strongly. And that is why there's just so much change going on in the world all at once at a very quantum accelerated speed. And it's overwhelming. So I get it. So take the time you need to get your rest and relax, and take, several deep breaths and journal everything, from this episode, that you get something out of it. And let's activate and awaken your starseed roots and your galactic roots. And I look forward to connecting with you in the next episode.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to click like, save, and share with others so they can also experience what you just experienced. And stay tuned for some more high vibe episodes. And I'll be connecting with you in the next quantum field. Sending you so much love.